People, especially in government, oftentimes spend too much time thinking about the talking and not enough time focusing on the listening. And so you can't just ask questions with no intention of actually taking action on it either. You know, it's got to substantively inform what you do. You know, one thing that all politicians understand is power. One thing that I think will ultimately change behaviors is when they see social media distributing power. In the Obama campaign, it was viewed as silly, you know, oh, it's something for the kids using social media. And it was after it became a real tool of power that it became mainstream like that. Now every presidential campaign will have the same platforms that we used during the Obama campaign. Also, like Twitter, for example, is a classic case. 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, the only people on Twitter in the US were people like yourselves. Sort of the digerati. 2 years ago is not a long time. And then what happened was, whoosh, you know, sort of this massive period of acceleration. Now we have 535 members of Congress, and more than 300 of them are on Twitter. And the reason is not because they suddenly became technology literate, it's because they all understood if you weren't on it, then you were giving up power. My prediction is that in Italy, there will be something. It could be an election, it could be a referendum, it could be a candidate, it could be something local. But I think that as soon as people see these tools as an accelerant for political change, it'll help drive the cultural change. I think it's important to mention too, you know, Tunisia as an example. In 2008, there were only 28,000 Facebook accounts in Tunisia. 2 years later, 2 years is not a long time, 1.4 million. This is in a country of under 10 million, so 19% of all people in Tunisia had Facebook accounts in 2 years. Then as soon as a political element was injected, what was considered to be a relatively non-political medium became a political medium almost instantaneously. It was actually with Tunisia, out of the 195 countries on planet Earth, we were the first to speak out and to condemn the crackdown against protesters and the hacks into Facebook, for example, in part because of our monitoring of social media and our paying attention to what was happening by people communicating through these means. It was interesting. I mean, just having experienced it firsthand and, you know, on the top floor of the State Department, seeing how people's minds work and understanding the decision making, social media influenced us. You know, I'll give you another example of how social media influenced us, which was after the revolution in Egypt. Reading in Arabic, you know, not necessarily focusing on people who were communicating to us, but focusing on people communicating to each other. One of the things that we recognized was that people were infuriated with us for decades of support for Mubarak. We shared this, we heard this and shared it with Hillary Clinton. And she was like, I want to answer these folks' questions. My own first-person perspective is that at least right now in Washington, there's like hyper-attentiveness to what people are saying and what they're expressing through social media. It's interesting how much things have changed in the last couple of years.